The man was nothing more than a lazy, unemployed drifter. But after a near-death experience, he awakened the power to control sand. Although his ability was officially classified as a worthless F-rank awakening, everyone had underestimated it. In reality, the power of sand would become the strongest ability in the world. With a single command, he could summon countless grains of sand to wipe out entire groups of enemies in one devastating attack. In just 3 years, he would rise from the weakest F-rank awakened to become the ruler of this world, and the reason he became so powerful was simple. This world itself had become nothing but sand. More than 100 years earlier, a mysterious beam of light struck Earth. The once beautiful blue planet that had nurtured all life was transformed into a vast desert graveyard. The few remaining survivors could do nothing but hide inside heavily fortified settlements built to withstand the endless sea of sand. The moment—
If they were going to destroy everything, then why leave insects like us alive? The moment those words left my mouth, bam! A punch slammed me against the side of the bus. The man who hit me laughed. Oops, my hand slipped. Before I apologize, why don't you tell me your name? My name is Zen. What do you want? The man burst into laughter. Why do you only have one name? Don't you have several dads standing right in front of you? His mockery instantly pissed me off. He casually sat beside me. Come on, we're all miserable people here. We should get along. He began guessing what crime I had committed. Murder, fraud, theft, violence, without another word. I punched him square in the face. His body flew backwards several meters. If you're that curious, I'll tell you, my crime was murder. Well, not exactly, because in this world, only the strong are considered human. Back then,
I thought I had killed an insignificant nobody, but I had no idea he had connections. His older brother was an awakened powerhouse named Li Ji Ryong. The moment I heard that name, I knew I was in trouble. Awakened people weren't just stronger than humans. They were treated like gods. Rumors spread that Li Ji Ryong was hunting me down, and now he had finally found me. Suddenly, blood splattered into the air. I couldn't understand what had happened.
I had thrown the punch, so why was my own fist the one bleeding? Before I could react, the awakened fighter grabbed my face. With a casual twist, he flipped my entire body over. The impact nearly knocked the air from my lungs. At that moment, I realized the terrifying truth. This wasn't an ordinary person. I had gone through so much just to avoid awakened hunters. Yet somehow, one had caught up to me anyway. Just then, the entire bus lurched violently. It rolled over uncontrollably. A bald passenger screamed at the driver, "Can't you drive properly?" But the driver was even more terrified. Because the bus hadn't crashed, it had been swallowed whole by a gigantic sand monster. Everyone panicked. People rushed desperately toward the exits, but it was already too late. Countless grains of sand wrapped around everyone like chains. In New Seoul, being swallowed by a sandworm after encountering awakened people wasn't unusual. It was simply how the world worked. The strong took everything from the weak, so if I died here, no one would care. I'd just be another worthless nobody. If only I'd been a little stronger, maybe I wouldn't die like this, but thinking about that now didn't matter anymore, because I was already on the verge of death. Just as I was about to lose consciousness, my eyes suddenly shot open. I wasn't buried beneath the sand. Instead, the sand itself was pulling me out. At the same time, I felt something inside my body changing. A moment ago, I couldn't even breathe, but now, I could somehow sense everything outside. At first, I thought it was just my imagination, but when I focused, I could clearly feel the iron towers in the distance, the surrounding buildings, even every grain of sand beneath the ground. My heartbeat quickened. My eyes widened with disbelief. With every breath I took, the entire outside world unfolded inside my mind. I couldn't understand what was happening. My senses stretched farther and farther, beyond the desert, beyond the horizon. It even felt as though I could perceive distant planets far beyond Earth itself. It was as if I had become one with the land. No, one with the entire planet. There was only one explanation. I had awakened. I slowly raised both hands. Countless grains of sand rushed toward my fingertips. The endless desert answered my call. The next second, I released all of it. Boom! A massive blast of compressed sand shot forward, piercing straight through the giant monster. At that moment, only one thought remained in my mind: survive. In this world where everything had turned into sand, I would survive no matter what, even if an enormous monster stood in my way. I refused to die here. I looked down at my body. Every heartbeat echoed loudly in my ears. Every cell in my body felt alive. There was no doubt anymore. I had become an awakened one. The sandworm roared in pain as it rolled wildly across the desert. Compared to its gigantic body, I was no bigger than an ant. It opened its enormous mouth and lunged toward me. I immediately slammed my hand into the ground, preparing another attack. But before I could move, someone suddenly pressed my head down. "You're in the way. Leave this to me." Before I even realized what had happened, an overwhelming force blasted me backward. I crashed violently into the sand. My eyes widened in shock. That man I hadn't even noticed him approaching. Then, something even more unbelievable happened. The sandworm's body suddenly burst open. Black blood sprayed across the desert. The mysterious man had defeated the monster completely by himself. With one powerful kick, the gigantic creature was smashed into the ground. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Was this world insane? Or was I? Someone could actually defeat a sandworm that easily? This was the strongest awakened person I had ever seen. Before I knew it, a blue-haired woman appeared beside me. She smiled casually. "His name is Zhang Longfan. He's our captain." I turned toward her in confusion. Who was this woman? Why did these awakened people always appear without making a sound? The moment she grabbed my arm, I felt an overwhelming amount of strength. At the same time, an icy chill spread through my entire arm. "Let go." I tried to pull away, but she simply smiled. "No." Captain Zhang glanced in our direction. "You never listen. I told you to aim for the brain near its mouth. That would have killed it much faster." The woman scratched her head awkwardly. "I know. I just couldn't do it." She then looked around the battlefield. "It seems there's only one survivor." Without warning, Zhang kicked me. My body flew backward before he pinned me to the ground using a grappling technique. No matter how hard I struggled, I couldn't move. I had absolutely no idea what they wanted. The blue-haired woman crouched beside me with a grin. "Let's see, what rank are you? And what ability did you awaken?" But after checking me, her expression suddenly changed. "That's strange. He's not an awakened." I frowned. What was she talking about? How could I not be awakened? Then she explained why. "There isn't any rank mark on his arm." That made no sense. I looked at my own arm. There really was something different. Instead of the normal glowing emblem, mine was the same color as sand. As the sun slowly disappeared beneath the horizon, we drove across the endless desert toward the magic crystal mine. The man with glasses behind the wheel couldn't hide his frustration. "Why do you two always have to interfere? I told you we needed to leave before sunset." While they argued, I sat in the back seat with my hands tied. Quietly, I focused my mind. A tiny whirlpool of sand appeared in front of me. When I released my concentration, the sand immediately fell back to the ground. So it wasn't my imagination. I really could control sand with nothing but my thoughts. But one question still bothered me. Why couldn't they see my awakener mark? I looked at the mark on my arm again. Its color was completely different from everyone else's. Awakeners were normally divided into different categories. Magic-type users possessed blue insignias. Martial-type users had red ones. Some rare abilities had unique colors. But mine looked exactly like the desert itself, the color of sand. I'd never heard of anyone with an ability like this. Although it was officially labeled as an F-rank ability, I could already feel its limitless potential. An endless desert meant endless power. I couldn't help smiling. Just wait until my strength is complete. I'll stay hidden, grow stronger, and when the time comes, this entire world will become my stage. In a world covered by sand, there couldn't be a better ability than controlling sand itself. For the first time in my life, I felt like destiny had chosen me. Before long, we arrived at the magic crystal mine. From the outside, everything looked surprisingly normal. The moment I arrived, I was immediately taken inside. Meanwhile, Captain Zhang couldn't stop thinking about me. Out of everyone swallowed by the sandworm, I was the only survivor. That alone was suspicious. Then he remembered something. When he had killed the monster, he had noticed a perfectly clean hole through its body. At the time, he hadn't thought much of it. He quietly regretted not asking for my name. For some reason, he had a feeling we'd meet again.